Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, when you buy an EV, or specifically a Tesla, there are a few things, unusual things, that you kind of have to get used to with an electric car. And today we're going to talk about 8 of them, or maybe more. To start things off with unusual things you're going to notice when you're getting a Tesla is, of course, the buying or purchasing experience. All is done online. You can even do it on your phone. It's almost like buying a piece of consumer electronics or whatever you buy online, really. All you gotta do, especially if you're paying cash, it's really like just buying any sort of other equipment that you use, I guess. But if you're financing, you need to, of course, fill in a little bit more information about yourself and your details. Now, I've made a video covering in detail the buying experience and the steps you take when I ordered my Tesla. I'm gonna link that video down in the description if you want to go and check that out. One thing that really surprised me with the Tesla when I first drove it the first time on the highway is how comfortable and smooth it is. So right now I'm going on a pretty well-maintained part of I-95 here, as you can see. Usually I-95 is very bumpy, and I'm doing 63, not too fast, but it's a lot of traffic on this morning here. So still, I'm doing highway speeds, and it's very comfortable and quiet in here. And it doesn't feel like an entry-level small sedan. It feels like a much more premium car than that. And I think the quietness might have to do with the double pane side windows here now, which we have, which is an update for 2021. I haven't driven in 2020, so I can't really compare the noise level inside, but I've heard that the difference is not that noticeable from the older models that just have a single pane window and the double-sided here. But as far as I can tell, this is the quietest and most comfortable car I've ever owned, and I've owned quite a few cars. Not any premium cars though, but for example, my wife's Tiguan is a lot less comfortable and a lot louder than this. That might have to do with the tire choices, but that at the same time would be kind of strange because I just upgraded the wheels here to 275s in the rear and 235s in the front, 20-inch wheels. So you would think that the noise would be a little bit higher. As you can see, this is standard I-95 surface right here, construction everywhere, bumps in the road, so this is not the same standard as it was just a mile back, and I think you can hear the noise difference as well. So of course it all depends on the quality of the road as well. And now we're coming into some smoother road here again, and it went a lot quieter. I have zero complaints about the comfort of this car. It's definitely the most comfortable car I've ever owned, and also the most fun to drive. And that has to do with another thing that you're going to be surprised about when you're driving a Tesla model, or any Tesla or any EV for the first time, is the torque delivery and the power delivery. Some like it, some don't. I don't really get if you don't like it, because it's so much fun and it's really addicting, even if you have the base model Standard Range Plus. And here we have a beautiful Model 3 coming past us right there. Look at that beauty. Very cool looking black, and it has the aftermarket wing and dual motor as well. But even if you have the Standard Range Plus, which I do here, it is a lot of fun to drive. I don't think you need to have a lot of horsepower to be able to feel this power and this pull, because it all has to do with the torque. All right, so let's turn into this side road here. Hopefully there is not a lot of traffic here. Usually it's not, but it's, as I said, it's a regular work day. But it looks good. So let's see here. We're going 15 miles per hour now, and I'm just gonna floor it, and you can have a look here at how fast we're gaining speed here. And we're up to 60. It feels like the car is constantly just pulling and pulling and pulling you pretty effortlessly, and that's the magic with EVs. All right, so we're gonna do a pull now from 30 to 50, and let's see how quick that goes. I mean, it just feels like it's instant. It feels like you're there in just a second. And I encourage you to go test drive any EV to just get the feeling of how they're driving. And I'm sure you're gonna get addicted to always flooring it. But of course, when you do that, you're gonna use some more range. but in my opinion, that's totally worth it. For me personally, I haven't driven the Performance yet. I think I'm going to drive it maybe next week, and I'm gonna make a video on that as well. But I don't feel like I lack, or I don't feel like I'm missing any performance. This is quick enough for what I needed to do and for having a lot of fun. I can only imagine the performance, how insane that must be. I can't wait to drive that car. Obviously, I'm gonna update you on that. I feel like when I drive the Performance, I'm gonna really have an understanding of what the Tesla Model 3, or the potential of the Tesla Model 3, and maybe I want to trade it up eventually for a Performance. But at the same time, you have dual motors, you have more weight over the front wheels. This, you can feel the power coming from the rear wheels, and I kind of like that feeling. But as I said, I'm gonna have to wait until I drive the Performance to really give you a final thought on the Standard Range Plus versus the Performance. But you're going to have a lot of fun no matter what Tesla you choose to buy, if you're in the market for a Tesla Model 3 or any other Tesla. Before we go any further, I'd like to talk to you about online privacy. It matters more today than ever before, and that's why I'm happy to let you know I've partnered up with the world's largest VPN service provider, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN not only protects your privacy online, they also give you full access to worldwide content no matter where you're located in the world. So for example, if I feel homesick and I want to stream some Swedish TV shows, I can't do that using a regular browser. However, after a quick 3-minute install of ExpressVPN, all I have to do is select the location and I have all the Swedish content available to me instantly. It will also allow you to overcome any browsing restrictions set by your school or office. But most importantly, in my opinion, is that all your personal information online is encrypted and protected. ExpressVPN is offering you, my audience, a 3-month free trial to see what they can do for you. So protect your privacy online and try it out today by clicking my link in the description. Now back to the video. We can't talk about Tesla without mentioning the Autopilot function. Just tap the right stalk down twice, just to pull it down twice, and you will go into auto mode. And this means you can take the hands off the steering wheel. However, you need to touch it every now and then to make sure to just tell the car that you're actually still in the driver's seat. And this is something that's taken a little bit of getting used to for myself, and something that I have learned to trust over time. And it's really useful when you're driving long stretches. It just makes for a very relaxing drive, especially on long road trips. Another cool thing that will surprise you when you're first driving a Tesla is the one pedal driving. So I'm only using pretty much the gas pedal the entire time here when I'm driving. So we're coming up to a stop sign right here off the highway, and I'm not using the brake, I'm just letting off the gas pedal, just kind of gauge it so I can don't have to touch the brake pedal. You can see that the car is also braking in the animation here on the screen all the way until we come to a complete stop, and I never touched the brake. Now you can go into the settings here and choose creep mode. Driving here, you have stopping mode right there, so you have hold, roll, or creep. Now creep is the typical automatic setup that you have. So if you're like me now and you're just at a stop sign, you need to have your foot on the brake pedal for the car to be stopped, otherwise it's gonna creep forward just like you would on a typical automatic. Maybe that's for if you want to get used to this driving at first. You're maybe not used to this, not having to hold your foot on the brake or something like that, but I prefer to have it in hold. That means I can take my foot off any pedals. I don't have any foot on my pedals, and as you can see, the brake lights are still on the car until I decide to just push the gas pedal a little bit, and then we move forward when it's time to go. Another thing that's pretty cool is you can see up here when the lights turn green and when they're red. So if you're, for example, commuting in the early morning time or coming back late at night when the sun is setting and you have the sun in your face and you can't really see the lights, all you got to do is just look down on your screen and you can see up here when it turns green and when it's red. So you can see now all the way there their arrows are green up there, and I can't understand how they're doing this, but it's some really cool technology. And I'm starting to realize just how useful this is, specifically when the sun is low and you have it right in your face. One thing you definitely have to get used to when you're getting an EV, specifically a Tesla, is the interior, or more so, the lack of interior, because as you can see, all the controls, main controls, are operated by this screen right here. You do have some toggles here, or some buttons here. You can tilt this back and forth, or you can do it up and down. Same thing with this one right here. And you have reverse neutral drive and autopilot right here on this side right here, and on this side you have indicators, washer fluids, and stuff like that. Standard stuff. You have the washer fluids by pressing this button right here. Well, let's talk about what some of the stuff you can do here on the screen here. So you have a lot of cool stuff that you can play around with if you want to. Specifically when you're charging, you have a bunch of different games right here, and you also have, this was entertainment, then you have the toy box, which is of course my favorite, the sketch pad right there to go in and sketch some cars and stuff. Some information about your consumption from your trip when you're starting a trip, or the overall consumption from the last 5, 15 or 30 miles right here. See what you're averaging right there. It's very simple. It might look like it's a lot to learn, but it's really not. It's very intuitive, and everything is like an app on an iPad or something like that. So it's not really anything to worry about. It took me maybe a couple of hours to get used to once I got the car. Now, since you're driving an electric car, this means that you now have to change the gas station for charging stations. And this, I thought, was going to be an issue. What was I going to do for 30-35 minutes to get a full charge? How am I going to spend the time? I'm going to be so bored just sitting in the car doing absolutely nothing. But what I've realized is that this time has now become a very special time for me, because it becomes the time when I'm writing the script for the next video, or if I feel creative enough, I just open up Sketchpad inside of the Tesla app here, or the dashboard, and I just open up the Sketch app, and maybe, why not go crazy and sketch a couple of cars while you're waiting on your car to charge up. These are just a couple of things you can do while you're waiting for the charge to finish. And of course, you can also go in and do some shopping, or run some errands, or whatever you like, because these charging stations are usually positioned in a convenient place next to a shopping mall or something like that, so it actually gives you something to do if you don't want to be productive and stay in the car and work. Once it's all full and you hit the open road and you inevitably pass the first gas station, you can't help but feel a little better about yourself, because you're not using dinosaurs to fuel your car anymore.